Nvidia might have an answer to AMD, Samsung triples the sales of their Galaxy lineup, and Sony might be shutting down some beloved services. Let's get into the hot news, everybody. I am your host, Brett. We're going to be going over the hottest tech news that I can find on the internet. So why don't you hit the like button with the ferocity of 1,000 like buttons? That's the way to do it. Let's get into the top story today, which is about the 3070 Ti and 3080 Ti and how there's new information coming out that the 3080 Ti might be popping up in April and the 3070 Ti might be popping up in May. It looks like the 3080 Ti is going to have 12 gigabytes of VRAM and the 3070 Ti is going to have 8 gigabytes of VRAM, but they're both going to be GDDR6X, and this makes no gosh dang sense. Why would you give us less VRAM? Nvidia, just give us 12, 16. This doesn't compute. What are you doing? This is not enough. Who are you? This isn't competing. It's the same marketing. You gave us faster, cool, that makes it better at mining, which they are likely to have the same mining limiters that you can find on the RTX 3060 currently. It appears that they're going to have an announcement embargo at the beginning of April and then a release sometime in May of the 3080 Ti and then follow on the next month for the 3070 Ti. Sound off in the comments about, but we don't have GPUs already yet. Get out the ones that you already launched. I hear you. I'm just telling you what's available elsewhere in the world of the internets. And what's also available in the world of the internets is solutions to mining problems that Nvidia introduced into the RTX 3060 with people not being able to mine on those cards, Ethereum algorithms with that being happening. We talked about last week about how Nvidia rolled out a driver that then allowed the cards to actually end up mining, but only with certain scenarios. And it turns out that several miners have now just gone ahead and implemented fixes to those, such as running on PCI Express 8X slots and then plugging in an HDMI dummy device, so it looks like it's actually on a display, but it isn't, and it works. There you go. Mine on your RTX 3060s to your heart's content, and Nvidia did nothing correctly here. Staying on the mining card side of things, it does appear like Nvidia might be coming out with a super high-end mining card that they have not yet announced. According to a well-known leaker, it looks like they're going to be transitioning something of the A100 card into a mining version, which he is dubbing as a mining monster, the CMP-HX card based on the A100. It doesn't appear like this would be the 90HX because that's not on a full Ampere die, and the A100 is the big Mac Daddy Ampere GPU that's out, so it appears that the A100 would be even heavier than what Nvidia's already pitched to us. And what's heavier than what Intel already pitched to us is what they're going to be pitching to us later this year. Rocket Lake, which isn't even out yet, by the way, that's launching next week officially. Well, we now have leak slides from Intel about Alder Lake, which is supposed to be launching later this year, which is going to have a new architecture. It's going to have big and little cores, fast power cores, and efficiency little cores, and up to 20% better single-threaded performance, up to 2 times better multi-threaded performance, improved SoC power, both PCI Express 4.0 and 5.0, as well as DDR4 and DDR5. So this appears to be an in-between generation, very much like Skylake was, where you had some boards that could do DDR3 and some boards that could do DDR5. Likely the majority of them are going to be DDR5 if this launches next year. If it launches this year, I would expect that it's still DDR4. But are you excited for Alder Lake, or how does this? Aren't we supposed to be excited for Rocket Lake? I don't know what time is anymore, and neither do you, because you've been playing too many video games on Stadia, haven't you? Look at you. You want to be chokeslammed by the lady in Resident Evil 8, don't you? Because you can now on Stadia officially. It's coming out to Stadia May 7th on the launch day, and you get a full Stadia bundle when you picked it up. And you can say, yes, please. I don't get this. I don't get why a 9-foot vampire is everybody's rage, but you know, don't get Stadia for this. I'll tell you that much. Buy it on a better platform. And what's a better platform than hot news? For the GameStop Bitcoin update, we got GameStop. I'm recording this episode a bit earlier than usual, so we don't have the full numbers in yet, but in mid-market, right an hour before close, 195 is where GameStop's at. Nothing happened on Friday. Nothing's going on with GameStop. It's like circling 200. We'll see if it goes up or down tomorrow. Bitcoin went down, 56,000. That's not as good. Yikes. That's the end of the GameStop Bitcoin update. That's not the end of the update about lying about Bitcoin. Coinbase has apparently been fined $6.5 million for lying about trading volumes that the platform had by the Commodities Futures Trading Commission. Slap on the wrist, why don't you? $6.5 million, that's like one Bitcoin that you bought 6 years ago from your Aunt Tilly, who had no idea what she was getting into, and now you're a millionaire. So just pay up. And car manufacturers, you pay up to electric, okay? It's time. It's time for the switch. And Jeep is deciding they're gonna go with an all-electric Jeep Wrangler. That's weird. Okay, they're calling it Magneto, which is a great name, by the way, for an electric vehicle of a beloved car. I think Jeep's on the mark here, but it's also kind of on the mark with the fact that it has a 6-speed transmission, which is kind of neat, and you don't need to use the clutch in order to launch from first because it idles at 0 RPM, so there's no need for the clutch at first. And apparently it's going to be using the regen of slowing down for easier switching between gears. It's kind of neat. It's not that fast compared to a regular Wrangler. It's apparently delivering roughly the same power, but it's interesting. It's neat. I'm all for neat versions of cars in the electric form. And Apple's not for you having neat versions of products that they currently have out when they got another one coming out. Apparently there's gonna be an announcement of a new Apple Silicon-based iMac that's supposed to be announced next month. And so they are slowly but surely pulling off current iMacs that are on the market. The 512 gigabyte and 1 terabyte versions have been pulled. You can get the lower capacity versions or the Fusion Drive versions if you want, but it looks like we're getting ready for an imminent iMac upgrade sometime soon. And Rivian wants you to know that you can upgrade to them and you don't have to worry about charging in different places. You think you had to buy Tesla for the supercharger network? Now you can go get a Rivian, be part of their adventure network. You miscreant who wants to sit on the couch. If you buy a Rivian, you're out for adventures. Tesla? What did Tesla do? Tesla's all about playing video games in the car, okay? Rivian's about exploring. 10,000 chargers they're expected to have up and running sometime soon. They're expected to get them up to 300 kilowatts at some point in the near future, with most of it being 200 kilowatts. But Rivian, as the days go on, sounds like a more and more legitimate competitor to Tesla, and I'm all the more excited for it. And Samsung must be all the more excited for the fact that they learned that if you don't raise the price to $1,000 for a base model, you'll sell way more. The Galaxy S20 apparently sold like anus, and the S21 that was $200 cheaper has tripled their sales in just 1 year. That's bad. Samsung, I hope you learned your lesson. Don't charge people more. And people, don't take up more people's time, okay? Listen to things faster, which is what WhatsApp's gonna be rolling out an update for. You can listen to voice notes faster. That's great, which, by the way, I like to watch YouTube videos at like 3 to 4 times speed. And if you do that to hot news, I appreciate you. Don't waste your own time, friends. Which is what Christopher Nolan's saying to you, because Tenet is officially launching on HBO Max on May 1st, which Christopher Nolan has called the worst streaming service. So don't waste your time on his own movie, because all you're hearing is but the HomePod Mini can figure out what's going on inside your bedroom. It's all steamy and moist in here. Why is the temperature going up? It's getting hot and humid up in here. The HomePod Mini apparently has temperature and humidity sensors that have been found in a teardown of the device that aren't actually activated and potentially could be activated in a software update at some point. You just hear in the corner, "Why is it getting so moist in here, Dave?" That's my impression of how. From space. Moving on. And my impression of Tesla Model S refreshes coming out on giant trucks being shipped is, yeah, jackpot, as this guy says. Plaid refreshed S and Plaid S being spotted on a shipping truck. Apparently it was just going intra-city and it's not going out to delivery. Big sad, but we got more updates on the Model S refresh because somebody was able to find some at a supercharger and the people let them inside the car. So now we have details of the operating system that's being rolled out into the Model S refresh VIII, as it's called. It's kind of neat. We'll leave links in the video description in case you want to see what's different between this and the original Tesla operating system that's currently out there. The pictures are dang neat. I'm very excited for the Model S refresh, and he posted a video of one of the cars doing a U-turn on a city street, which is a big deal because a lot of people thought with the smart shift technology it would be hard to pull off a maneuver like this very quickly, but it doesn't look like Model S struggles at all. Smart shift, shifting back and forth without you having to tell it what to do. That's neat. Good job, Tesla. I'm excited. And Tesla's excited because they apparently have secured the manufacturer for their 8,000-ton casting machine. That's a big portion of how they're gonna get the Cybertruck rolled out, and rolled it out so cheaply. Giant 8,000-ton gigapress coming in soon. And what's leaving soon is the PS3, Vita, and PSP stores. They're going away. Sony announcing that they are shutting them down. The PS3 and PSP stores will be closing down on July 2nd, whereas the PS Vita store will be shutting down on August 27th, and you will no longer be be able to get new content from them on those dates. It's not quite yet known if that means that you won't be able to download copies of things that you already have. When Nintendo did this with the Wii Store, they did give a grace period where there were a few months that you could re-download stuff that you already purchased and then closed off that service later on. We're not quite sure what Sony's doing here. I do think it's an interesting question of whether or not they should be doing it. I think this takes kind of interesting. Jason Schreier saying capitalism brain makes it seem like a logical decision. Well, duh, they're losing money. But it seems to me that the console makers have an ethical obligation to maintain and preserve video game history. If operating stores is too costly, make these games playable elsewhere. What do you think of that take? What do you think about Sony shutting all of that down? And what do you think of me being in a new space? I explained all of that in yesterday's not episode of Hot Not Who's. It was Hot Not Who's right there. Check that out, and you can check out this video right down here, which is going to be the best video that YouTube wants to recommend for you. Click on either one. Goodbye. Hot News out.